tonight, a man dies following an apartment fire in Brampton as the fire marshal searches for a cause.
Oh God, so sad, so sad. For him, he was a very nice, quiet guy, you know.
A frightening scene this morning as residents are evacuated. The victim found alive in his unit, but later succumbing to his injuries. Plus,
train's back up and running, and I have faith they wouldn't have done that if they weren't sure it was safe again.
the Up Express is back to its regular 15-minute service tomorrow after days of service disruptions due to repairs. And
you like skating, sweetie? Yes, you got a nod.
A nod.
Family Day fun, the perfect day for a skate and more. How those in the city soaked up the day under the sun. Good evening, I'm Kelda Yoon. We begin tonight in Brampton, where investigators are continuing to look for the cause of an apartment fire that claimed the life of a man. The flames broke out early this morning inside a unit at a building near Kennedy and Steeles. Ali Chiasson has more.
First and foremost, my condolences to the family and friends of the victim that passed away in this fire earlier this morning.
The flames broke out just after 8:20. Smoke billowed out of a third-floor window.
We responded within 4 minutes. Our crews found a fire on the third floor and worked to extricate a person out to the paramedics who was transported to hospital, as the police mentioned, in life-threatening condition. And unfortunately, that person has now passed away.
Residents had to leave as firefighters rushed into the building to knock down the flames. It was a frightening scene.
I come out this morning about 9 o'clock. I seen the fire department. I seen the smoke coming out of Unit 3. You can smell it. Like, you can smell there was a furniture fire. It's sad. It's very sad that the gentleman did not make it. God be with his family.
The residents are back in. Some rushed to make sure their loved ones were okay, like Mike Keene's 80-year-old mother.
She phoned me, told me to get my keister down there, right?
How are you feeling this morning about the whole situation? Sad? Scared?
Oh God, so sad, so sad. For him, he was a very nice, quiet guy, you know. Never had no trouble with him. But he had his own personal problems, I think so.
The Office of the Fire Marshal is working to find the origin and cause of the fire.
We don't know where the fire started yet. Again, that'll be part of the investigation. We did locate the individual in the bedroom.
Once they arrived on scene, they began testing the building's smoke alarms. You can hear that here.
I can't say 100%, but mostly they all work. It's a very good building.
Whether the victim's smoke alarm was operational is under investigation.
It's tragic when you see anybody lose their life in a fire, and today being Family Day, it even hits home even more. And I think it's just a reminder to everybody watching that please think of fire safety.
Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Brampton.
A man is dead in Milton and 2 other people are in custody after an attempted robbery at a home. Halton police responded to a call for gunshots at about 5 a.m. yesterday. Investigators say 2 men went inside the home and were confronted by an occupant. A number of shots were fired, killing 1 man. 22-year-old Ali Mian has now been charged with second-degree murder. 20-year-old Romario Clark has been charged with 1 count of break and enter and 1 count of unauthorized possession of a firearm. Police are still looking for 3 other suspects who are believed to have escaped in a light-colored Dodge Charger with a sunroof and black wheels. Anyone with information is asked to contact police. A service was held today for 2 of the 3 people killed in a high-speed single-car crash last week. Members of the Bangladeshi community remembering Aryan Alam Dipto and Mahir Khan in Scarborough this afternoon. They died after their car went over a Highway 427 exit barrier. A 3rd passenger, Angela Shreya Baroi, also died. A service was held for her over the weekend. Now, all 3 were international students from Bangladesh. A 4th occupant of the vehicle, the driver, remains in critical condition. Ontario MPPs get back to work tomorrow with a new session at Queen's Park. Now, first on their agenda, a look at the new health reform bill and the plan to move more surgeries into private clinics, something opposition parties strongly criticize. And questions surrounding Doug Ford's connections to developers can also be expected as the government opens up the Greenbelt. Lorenda Redekop has more.
As politicians head back to the legislature tomorrow, the government confirms its first order of business will be its planned changes to health care, moving more surgeries into private clinics, hip and knee replacements, as well as cataract procedures. The government says this is about reducing wait lists.
It's a great plan. We've consulted with the sector over and over and over again. They believe it's a great plan.
A government spokesperson says it'll also include more details on how they'll protect staffing at public hospitals. Potentially losing even more hospital workers is one concern opposition parties have with the legislation.
This session, we're going to put forward our vision for changes that will strengthen and expand our public healthcare system instead of selling it off.
Marit Stiles will be taking on the Premier from a different seat during question period, now officially the NDP leader.
We're going to push for stronger protections for prime agriculture land and our green belt instead of paving it over.
The Ford government opening up the green belt will no doubt come up. The issue is being looked into by the Auditor General and the Integrity Commissioner. And the latest questions are over developers attending a pre-wedding event for one of the Premier's daughters, a stag and doe, costing $150 a ticket. Ford told the Integrity Commissioner about it months later, after a reporter asked about it.
I know the rules. I've been in politics for years, and I was 100% cleared with the Integrity Commissioner. But my daughter has a personal life. I don't get involved in that.
He bristled at reporters' questions, so it could get interesting when the questions come from across the aisle.
No one can influence the Fords, no one, first of all. Not to mention a $150 stag ticket. You know, we know tens of thousands of people.
It's not about the Premier's family, but it is about the Premier's behavior and his accountability. And his integrity.
The NDP says it's putting together a complaint to request an investigation by the Integrity Commissioner. One more question, the future of the Green Party leader and whether Mike Schreiner will decide to run for Liberal leader, something he said 3 weeks ago he was thinking about. Today, the Green Party didn't respond to a request for an update. Lorenda Redekop, CBC News, Toronto.
The Up Express will be returning to its regular service tomorrow after being suspended for a day earlier this month, followed by almost 10 days of reduced service, with trains only running every hour. Metrolinx explaining all this is due to the discovery of cracks in the brakes of several trains. Dale Manukduk has more.
The Up Express, which connects Union Station to Pearson Airport, was still running on reduced service today.
I had to wait for half an hour in the train itself, so they have to make it more frequent.
That will change tomorrow, according to Metrolinx. In a statement, it says 15-minute service on Up Express will be resuming tomorrow to allow customers to show up and go throughout the day. No schedule required. We thank our Up Express customers for their patience. Earlier this month, the Crown Corporation said that over the course of regular inspections, it discovered hairline cracks in the brake discs on some of the Up Express trains and removed them from service. The ones that remain in service passed all safety inspections.
If they're keeping up with the security of the train and doing, checks every day, then I'm all for it.
Engineers from the rail system probably manage that and is already under a performance calculation to provide the appropriate braking system. So I'm pretty sure that it's safe as it can be.
Metrolinx did not respond to questions regarding how many brake discs were cracked, if they were serviced or replaced, and how long they may have been damaged for.
I think it happens to anything. They dealt with it quickly, effectively, and the train's back up and running. And I have faith they wouldn't have done that if they weren't sure it was safe again.
Dale Manukduk, CBC News, Toronto.
Let's go to meteorologist Colette Kennedy now with a first check on your forecast. And Colette, couldn't ask for a nicer family day with all that sunshine.
Yeah, and it's good that probably the nicest day of the week happened on what was a holiday for many with Family Day, because we do have some weather coming this week and some wintry weather that we're talking about. So I do want to point out the special weather statement and the areas included in this. It stretches back towards Windsor, and I just want you to know it's not associated with the little bit of light precipitation that's coming through tomorrow. This has to do what's coming for Wednesday and overnight Wednesday into Thursday. So it's more late Wednesday through the day on Thursday. In terms of that light precipitation coming through tomorrow, a little bit of showery activity, could be some wet flurries back towards Windsor, kind of a mix into Toronto, and then some bursts of flurries coming through. You could even start off with a little bit of sun through the Ottawa Valley, and then we get into some bursts of flurries and adding up to a few centimeters, maybe a tiny bit more than that. So that's kind of weak system number one going through, and it's going to be the next one that lines up that's really going to be a concern for wintry mix, ice pellets, freezing rain, and snow into the Ottawa Valley. So we are going to go into more detail on this coming up. I'll just show you the beginning of it here. This is late Wednesday. It hasn't yet reached you here into eastern Ontario, just approaching Kingston. It starts to snow through the GTA, but we get into that freezing rain from Sarnia across towards the Niagara region, and that's where we're going to be watching very, very carefully. Tonight, your forecast, though, yes, a chilly one with a wind chill of -21 and clear skies in Ottawa. Toronto, partly cloudy, -3, and Windsor, -2, with a few wet flurries perhaps starting towards those morning hours.
Thanks so much, Colette. So a good idea if you were one of those soaking up the sunshine and milder temperatures on this family day ahead of the winter weather, as Colette mentioned, that's expected to hit us later this week. Now, our Greg Ross was among those who spent the day outdoors, and he has more on how those in Toronto celebrated the holiday.
The outdoor skating path at the Bentway was packed with families today.
It's our first time this season where he's learning quickly.
His first time on the ice.
And he was happy to let Dad do most of the work.
Are you actually skating, or are you just getting pushed around?
Many were just happy to be out enjoying some unseasonably mild weather.
Yeah, a little spring preview, right?
Although some would have been okay if it was just a few degrees colder.
It's a little too good, the weather. If it was colder, the ice would be better.
She wasn't the only one hoping for the weather to be a little more winter-like.
They've never seen snow. They've never had cold weather like this.
This family is visiting from the Cayman Islands. The kids wanted to see snow, but there was none of that today.
How are you enjoying the cold weather?
Good.
You'd rather that than the nice sunshine in the Cayman Islands?
Yeah.
The Woodbine Beach was about the closest thing we had to the Cayman Islands today. That's where the 9th annual Winter Stations exhibit opened. Artists from around the world transformed the lifeguard stations into art installations.
I think it's a really nice thing to do, especially in the middle of winter, for an area that you wouldn't actually think about coming to in the middle of winter. Like, nobody thinks about coming to the beach.
If a casual stroll on the beach isn't for you, how about doing some burpees for a good cause? That's what these fitness enthusiasts were doing at Varsity Stadium.
We are raising $1 for every burpee done, up to $5,000 for the Children's Aid Foundation.
Those burpees can build up quite an appetite. So how about a little street meat from this outdoor market back on the Bentway?
Nothing like a little family day sausage. It's fantastic.
And while you're at it, you can always take the dog to check out some of the local vendors at the market.
Why not support local talent, local venues, enjoy the sun, yeah, take the pup out for a walk?
Lenny's eyeballing those sausages over there, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. He's smart.
Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
Welcome back. In Windsor today, there was a family day game in the National Basketball League of Canada. Thousands of people packed the stands, but they didn't have to pay to be there, thanks to a generous group of sponsors. Jason Vio has that story.
More than 6,000 people packed the WFCU Centre today. Some of them call themselves hardcore Windsor Express basketball fans.
I've been going to all their games in Windsor.
We're cheering on our own team, which is very exciting, and the players themselves too, they're very interactive with everybody.
And for others, it's the good deal that got them through the door.
Well, it was the family day freebie. It was great. We love basketball, but we love free even better.
I really like basketball, and I love playing it.
So you play basketball as well?
Well, I play at home, and it's really fun.
This marks the third family day where Windsor Express tickets were given out for free to the community. It also makes the game accessible to families who otherwise couldn't afford it. A local realtor who sponsored the event remembers vividly those moments when handing out tickets.
The excitement was amazing. They were jumping up and down. It was just great to see. Since COVID, we haven't had this much enthusiasm with the community.
This family of 8 snagged courtside seats, grandma, grandpa, and 6 grandkids.
I think just watching their faces enjoy the game, and I'll try to shield them in case the ball comes their way, right? So no, it'll be great.
While others say they'll have just as much fun in the nosebleed seats.
We brought the whole family, and we got 4 kids, and my dad's here, so we're way up in YY, but we're hoping to enjoy it nonetheless.
And organizers made some small tweaks to cater to the younger audience by including Paw Patrol's Rubble character, in addition to its regular mascot, Conductor Coltrane.
I'm very excited.
Nothing better. I mean, I've been looking forward to it since we got the tickets, so this is awesome.
It feels pretty good. The energy in here feels amazing.
The basketball game itself, fans describe as top-notch. The owners hope this freebie will get more new fans to hop on board the Windsor Express.
They're always excited here in Windsor when you tip your hat or show them a good time.
Even though Windsor lost 97-103 to the London Lightning, the crowd, filled with more kids than usual, still left energized. Jason Vio, CBC News, Windsor.
And you are looking at a live shot of the Toronto skyline, partly cloudy overnight after a beautiful sunny day. Currently, it is -1 in Toronto. Let's go back to Colette now with a look at your long-range forecast. Colette, today looked good, but as you said, some wintry weather coming our way.
Yeah, a little bit of active weather coming through tomorrow, but this is midweek, the storm that I'm talking about. Just a quick recap of the daytime highs from today. A mild day for Family Day. That 4 degrees for Ottawa. That was in the morning hours, and then things cooled off. So this is the system, the weaker system, that's just kind of passing through, having an impact tomorrow. More of a mix from the GTA back towards southwestern Ontario with some wet flurries, but a few centimeters certainly possible there into eastern Ontario, and in many cases we're talking about some breezy conditions as well on Tuesday. But once that one moves through, I'm going to take you into Wednesday afternoon, starting as some snow into southwestern Ontario and along the north shore of Lake Erie. That moves into the GTA. This is as we're getting a little bit later on towards the evening hours, and then overnight. Still hasn't reached Ottawa as we're going through the overnight, though it will Wednesday night into what will be Thursday morning, and then you'll be dealing with it through the night and morning. But I want to show you something. I've stopped it here. I'm going to lay another model down and see how a bunch of pink came through again. And this is the concern. From Sarnia through London over towards the Niagara region, it's going to be a close call into the GTA. That's where we could have this extended period of freezing rain. And into the city of Toronto, some ice pellets likely mixing in there. So the areas of concern, you can see it here looking at ice accretion, the potential for significant buildup. I want to caution you, it's still only Monday, and we're talking about a storm for late Wednesday into Thursday. So there's still time for these models to come into agreement. I don't want anyone to panic at this point. I'll tell you when we need to get to that and really worry about it. What I would be doing at this time is if you have travel plans or you're thinking about things for kind of midweek that's going to put you on the roadway, start to think about how you want to deal with that in case you need to make alternate plans. All right, into tomorrow as we're just looking through before the main system gets here, that's where we could see 2 to even 4 centimeters through the Ottawa Valley, more back towards Georgian Bay. But then as we go through Thursday, an area here where we're talking about 15 to 20 centimeters of snow closer to the GTA, that potential for 10 to 15 centimeters of snow, but then also the ice pellets that will be mixing in there as well. A very quick look at your 5-day forecast for Toronto. The mild tomorrow but windy, and then we're going to have that colder air move in. For Windsor, again, very similar conditions. Watch out, should keep the freezing rain to the north of you. And Ottawa tomorrow, well, it gets colder at the end of the week, but you're already really going to be into the cooler sector as we go through the day tomorrow.
Thanks. Finally tonight, 2 Toronto siblings are together after being apart for the first 50 years of their lives. Now, they were adopted from orphanages as babies in Romania and never met. Now, here's the wild thing. They separately moved to Toronto as adults, and thanks to DNA testing, they were brought together last winter. They sat down with Metro Morning host Ismaila Alpha to share their story.
Trajan, I made some lunch. For me, it began on Christmas Eve 2021 when I first received a message from Trajan saying that we've been matched on 23andMe. I was surprised, of course, and I read it like 10 times because I couldn't believe what's happening. I always thought I might have a sibling in this world, but it was impossible to know.
I'm going to my sister, look like not very.
I find something about them, right? Right, like quick, the family Canada, and I look on social media, I find out who she is.
Remember when they came to our house the first time, and you guys were saying bye, and I said goodbye, uncle.
We found a lot of similarities. It started with the kids because both our sons are named Victor. This is Victor C, as we call him, and this is Victor A. And Victor C is 19, Victor A is 30. So them being 11 years apart, but named Victor, that was one of the first coincidences. And we found out that they went to the same school. Well, Victor is still in school, but Victor graduated from the same school as Victor. And of all the universities and schools in Toronto, it happened to be the same one.
I mean, I was in awe. I didn't really have any expectations, to be honest. It was so surreal. It hit me like a train to hear my mom's whole story and to find out that there's another Victor.
We found similarities. We have a similar love of certain TV shows. We both love map games, Star Wars, and yeah. And we're still discovering things that we have in common.
You know, you've had these years, most of your life apart. You're starting to discover all these things about this sibling that you didn't know that you even had. What was it like meeting for that first time for you, Dashina?
It was different. I didn't know what to expect at first. And because I was raised as an only child, I never knew how it feels or how it is to have a sibling.
You know, coming here after 40 and not have too many people friends here, right? Everyone is back home. Finding a sister is like a cover everything, you know. Like have a family finally, kind of.
And that is our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, you can get caught up anytime. Just head to cbc.ca/Toronto. Maribel Tarouk has your next local newscast tomorrow at 6. I will see you back here tomorrow night at 11. Have a great night, everyone.